And today we're going to talk about chapter 6 to 10 in Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. And yeah, this is just an amazing classic. And yeah, Wilson Rawls is an amazing author. And so I hope that you enjoy these 10 chapters, because you should have read all the way, to chapter 10 or maybe more. And so I hope that you're going to enjoy today's session. And so let's just dive right into chapter 6, right? So, if you had been Billy, would you have had the courage to go to your house and face whatever was gonna come to you? And if you had come back to your house, like, how would your parents / guardians / family have reacted? Would they be mad, or I don't know, mad, angry, scared? How would they feel toward you, and how would they react? Well, my parents would be really mad, and yeah, they would be just really mad. Okay, but anyway, so the thing is, this camping site, right? This camping site is just perfect, right? This is where he got the case. This is where he got the magazine, and that was where the ad for the dogs were, right? And then now the thing was also he found their names at this camping site. Do you know that this camping site is special? And do you think that God helped Billy here, or do you think that Billy just did everything on his own? What do you think? So, if you had been Billy's mom, how would you have reacted when Billy came in? Well, I would have screamed with surprise. I would have thought that Billy was dead. I would have screamed with surprise and be so happy. And let's just have another. What about how would you, Billy's mom or sister or dad? How would just pick any of those characters and think, how would you feel? And you can use this. You can describe it by using a few words. So, do you think that Billy here, right? He really helped. He really made his family really proud and happy, right? And so, do you think that, but still, do you think that Billy next time should just tell somebody before he runs off? Yeah, right? And so, the thing is, if you had been Billy, would you have wanted to live in town? I mean, town is the place where he got harassed so much. He got really stressed out at town, right? Would you like to live at town if you had been Billy? Me? No, thank you. I just like nature anyway. And if you had been Billy, how would you have reacted to this? I would have argued, and I'm like, this place is awesome, And another thing I wanted to talk about was, do you think that the hills, right, are no place to raise a family? And because Billy's father said this. Your mother and I don't intend to live in these hills all our lives. It's no place to raise a family. A man and his children should have education. They should get out and see the world and meet people. Do you agree with Billy's dad here, or do you agree with Billy? I agree with Billy. I mean, the hills are awesome, and they still have good education. So I think that they could just stay there. But of course, at times, maybe you do need to go to town, right? But anyway, so, do you think that if Billy ever goes back to town, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to have to, do you think that he's going to be okay? Do you think that the kids are still gonna bully and harass him? Or do you think that he's going to be strong and he's gonna survive this? What do you think is going to happen? So, now, if you didn't even know how soda pop tasted like, and how the schoolhouse looked like how would it feel? Because we probably know that how all of those taste like. So how would you feel if you had how would you feel toward the people who didn't know? Okay, I would feel really sorry for them, and I would try to get a picture of a schoolhouse, maybe some soda pop for them, you know? Okay, but anyway, so, the thing is, do you think that old Dan and little Ann, I wanted to ask you about Dan and Ann. Do you think that those are good names? And you know, when Billy found them found the names on, carved into a sycamore tree, like, I'm pretty sure those weren't the names of dogs. Like, what if that the names of them were? Maybe children or people, family, maybe, wife and husband. So my guess are those. Okay, but anyway, so do you think that Old Dan and Little Ann are good names? And also, Old Dan and Little Ann, do you think that approximately how many coons do you think that they're gonna hunt? About more than 100, at least. Okay, now chapter 7. So the first sentence of this was this. It seems that the worries and wants of a young boy never cease, right? And so, like, would you have expected Billy's worries to cease after that or not? I mean, I guess that most of them, but I still had but see, he still needs to train and all, so he still has some worries and wants. So, Grandpa just had a brace and bit and those things, right? Like, do you think, you think, right? And like, they could just, at first, did you believe that you could do something with that? Or did you just roll your eyes and think that it was impossible like Billy did at first? Yeah, me too. But anyway, so, the thing is, if you have been Billy, and like, there's a few things that does not sound very realistic. Like, would you really actually listen, or would you just wave it off because it sounded so foolish? I would listen and try it, but it does sound a little foolish, right? Okay, that was when Billy realized that the coon should just do this, and he could be free. So, but the coon, we learned that he never does that. Like, what do you think about that? What's the one word that you would use to describe that? Me? Foolish. Yeah, it is foolish, right? Dumb, It is foolish and dumb. You could just, and that would be it. But we learned no, right? And so, do you think that Billy should just, use the brace and bit for the rest of his life, and he wouldn't need any dogs, so he could just have a lot of coons that way, or not? Why not? And we're gonna actually go back to that question soon, okay? Do you really believe Grandpa, even when he confirmed everything and things sound sort of realistic? Did you really believe Grandpa, and did you think that it was gonna work? I sort of believed Grandpa, and I thought that it was gonna work, right? But anyway, so now finally, do you think that a mama, Billy's mom, do you think that she overdid the switches or not? I think that she really overdid it. Do you think that if you haven't Billy, like, how is this like to you? Like, at times, like, you keep on going there, but it's never there, right? Like, is there any other kind of scenario like this? Maybe you order like a Lego set or a toy and from Amazon or eBay, or I don't know, eBay, SD. I don't know. Let's say that you order something, and then so you really want it, but it's just never coming. And like every day you run to the mailbox, it just isn't there. And then so finally you begin to give up, right? Like Billy, and you just stop. And then so that was what I thought. Yeah. And then finally it does come, right? Like Billy's coon, it came. Do you think that old Dan, and we sort of already see the spirit, right, of his hunting, so how do you think that old Dan and little Ann, like, how do you think that they're going to work together? Like, why do you think they make such a good team? Well, Old Dan is strong and, really big and good for like ripping a coon apart and fighting a coon. But little Ann, she's small, but she has the brains. and she can just find any coon. And so working together, it's like one machine. Really smart, really strong, right? Little Ann tracks the coon down. Old Dan kills it. Yeah, it's really cool in my opinion. Okay, but anyway, so do you think that it's sort of Billy's fault that he made Mama so scared? And would your mama have also thought that you had a snake bite, or would your mama have just heard it correctly? And you know, and how would she have reacted to this? So the thing is, would you watch a coon getting beaten by a club until it died? Would you want to watch that? I wouldn't, right? And Billy's dad tells Billy that it isn't really sportsmanlike, right? And so let's get back to the question about if Billy should use the bracelet bit for the rest of his life. Now do you think that he should use it for the rest of his life? I don't think so. And I think that you agree with me, right? It's not sportsmanlike. Maybe, I mean, you might like to be unsportsmanlike and just have it easy, but that just isn't fair for the coon. Next time we need to be fair, right? So, do you have a lot of patience? Because Billy needs a lot of patience. Do you have a lot of patience? I sort of do, but at times, my patience runs short. Do you think that Old Dan and Little Ann are making really good progress? And do you think that they'll be ready by the hunting season, or do you think that they'll need another year? What do you think? I think they're gonna be really ready by the hunting season, right? And yeah, I was just really excited. But anyway, so now, do you think that, Old Dan and Little Ann, do you understand animals? It doesn't have to be dogs, just, because Billy sort of understands Old Dan and Little Ann, his dogs. Have you ever understood some other kind of animal? And if you can think of any animal, like somebody that you know really well, and just by their actions and movements, you know how they feel and what they're about to say and stuff like that. And so you can do either. Well, I'm gonna use my mom. I know my mom so much, and I just know what she's gonna say at times. And sometimes she knows what I'm gonna say. So it's sort of like half, but at times I don't know. Other times, I know a lot. But 99% of the time I know. Now, I have a question. Do you think that their first night hunting, do you think that they're gonna get anything? I think that they definitely are. Okay, now chapter 8. So, if the day when the day of the hunting started, how would you feel? And actually Billy used a simile. He said this: I was as nervous as Sammy, our house cat, right? Who now isn't actually a house cat. He's half house, half wild cat, right? House wild cat. Now, it doesn't sound bad. Okay. But anyway, so could you use a simile to describe how you would feel? Now, let's see. I would feel as nervous as somebody who was about to get onto the scariest roller coaster in his life, And some people might be like, oh, that's so exciting. But I am terrified of roller coasters. Roller coasters that even 5-year-olds go to, I'm terrified of. So, yeah. But in my defense, I'm pretty sure that the 5-year-olds would also not come back, but still. Okay, but anyway, so, if you had been Billy's mom, would you have worried about Billy, or would you be like, oh, I know that Billy's gonna do it? How would you react to that? The thing is, do you think that, Dan and Ann, how do you think that they sort of knew that Billy was going to go hunting? And you think that the little one, right, the littlest sister, do you think that she actually, because she told Old Dan and Little Ann that they were going hunting, do you think that's how they knew? You never know. Old Dan and Little Ann are really smart. But anyway, so do you think that little Ann and old Dan are doing a bad job, and do you think that they're gonna fail at first? Did you think that? I thought that, but then things began to work out, right? And so they just chased the coon, right? And did you think that Billy, he was gonna get this coon, right? And so, how did you feel when you were reading it? Like, what experience were you having? I actually felt like I was with Billy, running and whooping and cheering, and and I felt all the exhilaration. And so now, is that how you felt? Like, how did you feel like at that moment? How would you describe that moment when you were reading this? Now, the thing is, we see that old Dan and Lil Ann treated this coon in the biggest tree ever, right? And so if you had been Billy, would you have just, even with all the whining and whimpering, would you have just walked off? Or would you have actually done it and kept your word like this Billy's doing? I would have tried to keep my word, right? But do you think that you could do that? Like, do you think that you could like cut down this tree? Would you have the strength? I'm pretty sure, even if it was so hard. Okay. Anyway, so do you think that little Ann and old Dan are stupid and that they should just go home? Or do you think that Billy should just do it? At first, Billy has mixed feelings. What do you think that you should do? But anyway, so Billy began to work, right? And he worked and worked and worked, right? And do you think that Billy's ever gonna cut this tree down, or do you think that the coon is like going to escape somewhere else and Billy won't have to cut anymore? What do you think? I had a feeling that he was gonna have to cut down the whole tree. Uh-oh. Okay. But anyway, so do you think that Billy's even gonna survive this? Like, would you be able to survive that? I don't want to be a city boy, but I am. I have no idea how to survive in nature, even though I love nature. And so, yeah, I don't think that I would have been able to survive, truthfully. Well, maybe I would, but I'm not just good at surviving in the wilderness, and I have never done enough exercise to chop down a gigantic, and I have never done enough exercise to chop down a gigantic tree. Maybe I could, though. That is, if I know how to hold an axe. Okay, but anyway, so, do you think that, do you think that Billy is crazy when he begins to work here? And also, the thing is, do you think that Billy and his dogs, right? Their relationship and connection is so strong. Like, what, it's sort of like, what would you compare the relationship to? Like, how well do they go along? Like, sometimes people can say they go along like bacon and eggs, Really good pair. Oh, I shouldn't have said that though. It's lunchtime and I just want some food. And so now I'm hungry. Okay, but anyway, so let's try to get the lunchtime thing out of here. And so, yeah, let's go back to what we were talking about. Do you think that a coon will be fooled by a scarecrow? Like, does that even make sense that a coon will be fooled by a scarecrow? And also now, do you think that the coon here, right? This coon, when Billy gets this coon, how do you think that all this work, everything that Billy's done, makes the coon a little more special than before when Billy catches it? Because he worked so hard and now he's actually got it, right? And so we're gonna actually talk about that later more. So now the thing is, do you think that Billy here, he worked really hard, right? If you had been Billy, would you even understand what the coon did? And like, did you actually ever think that the coon was this smart before? Like, if you had been the coon and you were running for your life, do you think that you could have thought about, do you think that you could have thought out this trick? I'd be too terrified to think out a trick, you know? Now, okay, so the thing is, we now learn, old Dan and little Ann stayed up all night at the tree. What does this show about them? They're really, 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 they have a lot of grit, and they really want to get that dang it coon, right? They just want to get that coon so much. Have you ever seen a dog that wants something that much so that he'll stay up all night guarding it? If you have an old Dan or little Ann, do you think that you would have been able to do that? I don't think so. Okay, but anyway, so how do you think that, when Billy said, ha, kerwham, how do you think that sort of helped him? Would that help you? I think that it helped him a lot because it just like, ha, pow, like karate chop. So maybe that would have helped. Okay, but anyway, so if you had gotten the blisters, would you have stopped or would you have kept on working? I would have stopped. I have never gotten any blisters before. I think I've gotten close to getting one though while I was doing violin, but yeah, I can just imagine they are not very, that they would feel terrible, And so, do you think that little Ann and old Dan are a little too, want this too much and don't really care for their owner, they just want a coon? Or do you think that they also care for their owner, but they just don't want the coon also? And because they sort of are helping, Billy, licking his hands and all that, right? And then this wind made the tree fell down, right? Do you think that this was God's work? And the big tree was the only tree affected. Do you think that this was just because the wind was up high? Or do you think that it was magic or something that we don't know about yet? And do you think that this makes the story even more magical? It does to me, it just makes it so magical. And I already like the book so much, right? So, now, do you think, old Dan and little Ann got the coon, right? And that, to Billy, that was it was as if he had won the lottery, right? And so what would that experience be like to you? I'm pretty sure you guys don't hunt, so what is one thing that you really wanted to achieve? And if you've achieved it, or if you want to achieve it, what is the same, so let's say you really want to achieve violin, okay? And you want to become the best at this international competition. And you do. And you feel as happy as Billy is when he got the coon, sort of like that. I don't have to think about that, but maybe publishing my first book, that would be awesome. Okay, so, the thing is, if you have been Billy's mom, would you have allowed Billy to hunt more? Because Billy's at times gotten in danger. He's been so tired, or he's gotten hurt, or he's got blisters. And would you have stopped Billy or not? I wouldn't have stopped Billy, but I've warned Billy. I would have warned Billy over and over again. And so Billy believes that he got helped, right, by God, even though his father's like, I don't know, Billy, Who do you agree with? And how do you think that maybe believing that somebody helped him, How do you think that made the experience even more magical for Billy? He was so tired, and then it just happened, this magical thing. I think that he'll always remember this first coon hunt, right? So, now chapter 10. So, Mama said this. She wished she hadn't made it for me because in some way wearing the cap must have affected my mind. I went coon crazy. That was a quote, okay? And so do you think that, how many coons do you think that Billy would have gotten by the first month? About 20, 30, But anyway, so now we're just going into stories, right, about coon hunting. And they're just really fun. Did you think that coon hunting was going to be just running around getting coons? Or do you think that it was going to be much more interesting? At first I thought it would just be running around. But then I learned coon hunting is an art. It's amazing and fun and so fun to read about, you know? So, old Dan and little Ann always follow Billy, right? Like, if you haven't Billy, would you ever hated that? Or would you think that was cute and loyal? At times, hunters tease Billy about his dogs, right? Like, what's that to you? Like, in your life, what is that like to you, okay? Maybe it's like, I'll have to think about that. And if I think of an answer, then I'll tell you. Okay, but anyway, so do you think that little Ann, right? Little Ann, do you think that just because she's small that makes her incapable of hunting? Do you think there's a more capable dog at hunting, old Dan or little Ann? Or do you think that they have to work together to become good at hunting and they're both equal? I think they're both equal and they need each other to become good hunters, you know? So if you had to have only one dog, then would you want old Dan or little Ann? Little Ann, because she's smart and small, and a big dog, we don't have space for a big dog, but a smart, cute little dog, I would like her. Little Ann had cut her paw, right? And after that, old Dan wouldn't just hunt, he wanted little Ann. What does this show about old Dan? And do you think that little Ann would do the same thing for old Dan? I think so, right? What does this show about old Dan though? He's really loyal and he's smart, he's brave, and he's loving and kind, right? And that's the best kind of dog you can get. So I was like, Billy, you did an amazing job of getting 2 amazing dogs. Another thing I wanted to talk about was, which dog do you think that Mama likes best? Old Dan or Lil Ann? Lil Ann, because Lil Ann did not harm any chickens, right? Okay, but anyway, now we are going to talk about one amazing coon hunt. So, the thing was, what did you think? This coon is really smart, right? And did you figure out what the coon had done? And also, the thing was, one thing I wanted to talk about was, and the coon was just running and running and running and running, right? And who did you think was gonna catch it first? I thought old Dan, right? And then the thing was, old Dan, did you think that old Dan had drowned or not? I actually thought that old Dan had drowned. But then we see that he was in a muskrat den, right? And in the end, they dug old Dan out and got the coon, right? So this was a very successful hunt story. And so, do you think that old Dan and little Ann, they're just an amazing pair, right? And how do you think that old Dan even got into the muskrat den? We'll never know, really, but you can guess, right? Okay, so now there was one other, right? And the thing was, so now let's just pretend that, so here, if you had been Billy, would you have found, pushing Dan in, Dan coming, would you have, old Dan, would you have thought that would be annoying, or would you have thought that would be funny? And also, do you think that they should also kill baby coons? And if you had been Billy, would you have allowed your dogs to kill a baby coon? I wouldn't be happy, but hunting is hunting. And my dogs would not like it. So, do you think that old Dan and little Ann, even though they're smart, do you think that at times they like hunting too much and they're too enthusiastic, and sometimes that's why, Billy has trouble, or what do you think? But in the end, they've always led to victory, right? And what do you think that that Billy's dad wants out of all this money? A new mule? What do you think that he's gonna get? I was just really curious, okay? Now, so I just wanted to talk about one thing else. This is just an amazing book, and So, have you ever had an adventure like that? And would you want an adventure like that, or do you think it's too terrifying? What do you think? And also, you know, Billy has so many adventures. Do you think that they are good adventures, and fun and exciting, or do you think they're too scary and, you know, and cruel? What do you think? And anyway, I have a question. Why is it that the title here is Where the Red Fern Grows? There's nothing about ferns or the color red or any red fern here. What do you think it's talking about? Maybe it's gonna come out later. We have to think, right? What is going on here? Anyway, so Old Dan and Little Ann, they're just amazing hunters, right? And do you think that Old Dan and Little Ann, they're just gonna become better and better? But do you think that the rest of the book is only going to be about hunting stories? Or do you think that there's gonna be some other twists and turns? And what do you think it's gonna be? Because the author can't always do hunting stories. It needs, like, at times there must be really exciting long stories. So what do you think is gonna happen? I'm so excited, and we're gonna have to just check that out later. Sad thing, we finished already. Good thing, we still gonna have to say goodbye, and we have still a few last questions. So, what was your favorite part in the chapters that we just reviewed, which was chapters 6 to 10? And then what was your favorite part in the book, so far in the whole book, which is 1 to 10? Now, I can't choose, so if you want, you can do multiple favorite parts or just on the whole book. Well, at times I just do the whole book, but I really liked when when Billy got the dogs. I also liked all those hunting stories. Those are my favorites. And also when Billy, all of those. Now, so what was your favorite character? And what was your favorite character? Billy. What's your least favorite character? There's not many antagonists yet, but you're gonna learn soon that there are. Not a spoiler, I'm just saying that there are going to be some antagonists. Now, so I think that maybe some of the hunters who poked fun at Billy, well, there was a townsfolk, but the townsfolk, I guess that's the townsfolk, and you could if you can't choose one, then just call it the townsfolk, okay? Yeah, even if that's like hundreds, about 10, 20 people, okay? Yeah, those were some antagonists. Even though not main characters, it's minor characters, but they still bugged Billy a lot. Okay, now, so how did you like the book so far? You know me, I love any book I do book clubs about. If I didn't like a book, I will not do it. And so luckily I like almost all the books in the universe. So yeah, I really liked it. What about you? I'm pretty sure that nobody could hate a book like this. This is just an amazing book. Now, so one thing I wanted to talk about was what do you think that another adventure that Billy and his dogs are going to have? What's one adventure that they might have? Maybe they're going into the deep mountains to hunt a coon or something. I don't know. And do you think that Billy's ever going to move to town, or do you think that his parents are going to be like, hey, actually, let's not go to town? What do you think is going to happen there? And you can ask a few prediction questions to yourself. You guys are as smart as I am, so I'm pretty sure you could think of a few prediction questions. And also, do you think that Old Dan and Little Ann, right? Do you think that, remember, there was so many, let's just go back to the way first, okay? The first chapter. And so there, we see that, so Billy, old Billy, he struck a match, right, to light his pipe. And when he did, there were 2 beautiful cups gleaming on the mantle. And also, and so, the thing is those two things, right? These 2 medals. And that reminded him of his boyhood. So, How do you think that's going to play in? And also, who do you think probably won this? I'm pretty sure that we all said Dan and old Dan and little Ann for their amazing hunting skills. And we're gonna have to see this later, okay? Now guys, we are finished. I hope that you really enjoyed chapters 6 to 10 in Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls with me. And I hope that you learned a lot. And have a great rest of your day or night if it's nighttime. And just keep on reading because it's awesome. Bye guys, and have a great rest of your day or night. And keep on reading Where the Red Fern Grows.